Welcome to the most overrated, underappreciated, most viewed, underviewed podcast of all time. Welcome to the Prince of Fresh Air. This is your host, the most charismatic man in entertainment, aka Mr. Tall Glass of Water, with my man Dimitri. How you doing, man?
I got y'all with another one.
Whew, what a time we're living in right now. Quick thing. I went to the store earlier today, and I thought this was a joke, but almost every business in my neighborhood is boarded up, closed, and it's sad to see, man. I saw pictures of New York, my hometown, and the amount of wood I see being put up and all the businesses being shut down
Where is this at?
in New York. Have you seen Times Square? It's
Nah.
boarded
I could.
up, boarded up. It's crazy, man. Crazy.
That's a shame.
It is a shame. And let's kick this off. I want to talk about the divide we have right now because no matter who wins the election, people are already starting to riot. Stores are being looted, and I mean, what do you think about this election period? Do you think?
I
Go.
I think that I was thinking about this the other day. People aren't wrong for feeling like they want their guy to be elected. Honestly, I feel like just hire all four of them. I've already said this for anybody who's watching this and has seen all our other podcasts. I'm all for the president being numerous people versus it just being one people. Why not have Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Trump and Pence all fucking work together? Because that'll be a step in the right direction, because now that forces two opposite sides to work together, which is what most people, seem to, can't do.
Right.
And the reason why people are acting up is because they're like, all right, well, if they don't elect, Trump, then I feel like I'm not, my interests aren't being represented in the White House. You have other people who are like, well, if Biden's not president, then, I'm afraid of this certain thing, or my interests aren't being protected in the White House. So why not just get all of them in there? Because the Congress is a collective of people. You know what I'm saying? The Senate is a bunch of people. House of Representatives is not just one person. Follow suit. Do the same thing for the White House. Have these people work together. Why does it have to be here or there? You know what I'm saying? A or B. It's just essentially all these presidential candidates should all want the same thing. So why is it that you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I think that they could make something like that work if they really put their minds to it, because obviously people aren't happy. So if and mind you, they boarded up the White House.
Yeah.
I'm mistaken. So there's a wall in front of the White House. So what does that tell you? People are not satisfied with the political process. So go back to the drawing board. I've been saying this for months. I've been saying this all year. They have to go because it's not working.
Right.
It's not working. The fact that they're worried about this, well, citizens are idiots if that's really what they're going to do. But if the government is worried about that sort of backlash, then you have to change something.
Right.
Or, I said, invite people and ask them what's wrong. Go to the people who are rioting, the people who want to riot. Ask them, like, why are you rioting right now? Then they'll tell you. Then whatever it is that person tells you is what you need to fix. So this system is obsolete. It's not working. It's not working. Really, because all you see is electoral votes. You should see popular vote now, or both. You see what I'm saying? Like, right. So like I said, I just think it's obsolete. I do think people are stupid if the first thing that they're going to do is start to, destroy their own communities. Times Square is a freaking like tourist section that people are constantly going through. Store owners and business owners shouldn't have to be doing that because people are going to be mad over an election.
Right.
Like, that's stupid. This is your community. You live there. Why would you want to? So I can go on and on, but.
Yeah, so before I get into the electoral college, because a lot of people feel like they should get rid of it. Let me just hit some high things that's been happening. So last night, regardless of your political party, Democrat, Republican, Independent, undecided, doesn't matter. But last night there was a record: 11 new women were appointed to the House of Representatives. Obviously, I mean, they were Republican, but still, if we're going to be talking about equality, let's talk about how 11 women just took took seats in the House of Representatives. That's a big thing. And then there was also a report that the first transgender woman, um, she became, her name was Sarah McBride. She became the first trans state senator in U.S. history after winning Delaware. So I mean, there's some good stuff happening if people look through it. The issue I'm having, like you said, is why is the first thing that people think about in terms of this election is going to steal from business owners? It's like
Their
Target.
opportunities.
We talked about
Honestly, it has nothing to, I think we talked about this last time. It has nothing to do with the election. Just people want free shit. So that's just the guys that they're using to go get free shit is, oh, I'm so mad about the election, so let me fucking go to Target and steal a bunch of shit that's not mine.
right. It's let's get into the election. So I've been following it closely last night. Biden is winning the electoral college right now. He also broke the record for most popular vote of all time. Uh, Donald Trump has beaten Obama in terms of popular vote. So it's been a very close race in terms of that. But since I'm talking about electoral college, a lot of people feel like they should get rid of it entirely. Now, when I was looking at it, because again, I never really paid attention to politics until now. I didn't realize like California is worth like 55 electoral votes, and most other states besides Florida and Texas is very little. So I think they should get rid of it. I think there's no benefit to having electoral college votes being the end all be all, because I feel like if it's more popular, then whoever's more popular wins. But this election has been funny. But before I get into some of the things that's been happening with the election, do you think they should get rid of the electoral college votes?
If they got rid of the electoral college, then that would mean that a vote is important, or more important than people are, way more important than people are making it out to be, because then it's in the hands of the people.
Right.
When you Google electoral votes or the election results, what do you see? Electoral votes. You need 270 to win, but millions of people are voting, right? Popular votes aren't a factor in that. Otherwise, that number wouldn't be 270. It'd be way more than that.
Right.
Probably. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they're not counting your shit. So what are they doing with these votes? We're just going out just to tell them what society thinks, but that's not ultimately what they're going with. Now, what the actual purpose of the electoral college really is, to me, honestly, I don't see the purpose of it. That's why I think that they should just get rid of it, because that's just telling me that my vote is useless.
Right. Right.
I think they should get rid of it.
Yeah. So let me get into some facts. I want to break this down because this election has been a lot of funny business going on. There was a report in Brooklyn that one of the ballot places, the machines broke down, quote unquote, and they wanted people to leave their ballots with them. And then when the systems were fixed, they would scan it themselves, which I mean is a scam in itself. Then you have places talking about how pipes were bursting while they were counting votes. So they have to take 5, 6 hours to stop voting, stop counting the votes. And then let me give you some other statistics that's been going on. So Fairfax, Virginia, overnight, while everybody's sleeping, um, they switched 100,000 votes from Trump to Biden, stating that it was a clerical error, right? Then Wisconsin suddenly discovers over 112,000 Biden ballots between 3:30 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. So again, some funny business going on there. Then a lot of states like Nevada won't have a decision until at least Thursday this week. Then Michigan gained 138,000 ballots for Biden since they stopped counting last night, zero for Trump, which again, funny business. 6 states that Trump has sizable leads. All the 6 states decided to stop counting ballots on election night, which never really heard of. And now they're all, Biden is leading all of them, which again, funny business. Um, then you have just various accounts of votes being displaced and votes being found in the garbage can. It's just it's a lot of funny stuff going on right now. Like, I don't know how this election has become the most divisive election of them all, but the problem I'm seeing is there's no organization. You know what I'm saying? I know Trump wanted the votes to stop counting, and there could be a case that that shouldn't happen. But like, I mean, how do you feel about all of this stuff that I just mentioned?
Well, what kind of votes is it that they're all of a sudden finding? Are these like regular people's votes?
Yeah, honestly, there's no specifics of it. It's just votes of randomly turning up, or
Well, we
you
already
know,
know they're not doing anything with the votes of regular people, so I think that doesn't really matter at this point. To be honest with you, the last election back in 2016, they knew. I think at this point they already knew who the next president was, which is Donald Trump. At this point, right?
um, at this point in 2016, yeah.
Because I actually remember going on the like a website that had the results and was updating by the minute and everything like that. I don't know what the holdup is right now. I mean, to me, I look at the electoral, votes thus far, and obviously I see that Joe Biden has like 264. You need 270 to win. Donald Trump has 214. I mean, it looks like Donald Trump is going to lose. And I already saw Donald Trump talking about, oh, this is very sad. We're gonna take this to the Supreme Court and do this, and that. So hey, people got what they wanted. Joe Biden's president now.
Well, not yet. Nevada is the deciding. Well, not really the deciding, but if Trump wins Nevada, which is look like it's a possibility, then if he wins Nevada and I think two other states, I can't remember the last like five, but if he wins Nevada, there's a strong chance he can still pull it off. So I mean, we'll see. This has been like the closest election of
So,
all time. Like we
so,
haven't seen this before.
so what you mean by that is because, like I said, because this is really only like the second, election of like my adult life and shit. But so basically, he has 214. So let's say if he wins Nevada, so then that means that 214 is going to become what, like 240 something?
I can't remember the exact, but yeah, Nevada would be a very high one. Nevada and Pennsylvania, which Trump is leading right now, he's leading Pennsylvania. So if he wins those two, either my prediction is either Biden wins Nevada and that's it, or Trump wins Nevada and somehow they tie it at 270 or around 270.
I mean, for me, I just think, hey, everybody should feel like their interests are represented in the White House. Therefore, no one can complain because your guy's in there, their guy's in there. Boom, problem solved. Everybody shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I mean, where it's like your day-to-day life is gonna look like the same. And it was like a dude driving a car, a dude at home, a dude at work. Like if you're a regular person, you know what I mean? It's gonna stay the same unless like obviously you're a celebrity or you live some, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, I get it. Don't get me wrong, I get it. Especially the older that I've gotten, the more I've come to understand the importance of politics and different things that are going on. I just don't like what's going on in the system itself, and I don't like the way that people are choosing to conduct themselves because I don't think people should really be condemning each other when all we really should want is a better system for each other and for our kids and so on and so forth. I feel like we're the only country that struggles with this shit.
Yeah.
And I really hate to see later this week people rioting and doing a whole bunch of stuff because it's embarrassing. Like it really is.
It's happening. It's going to happen. And let me talk about something because you mentioned something really important, and I want to talk about this. So, Florida, Trump won Florida, and as we all know, a lot of Cubans, like UFC fighter, Jorge Masvidal had came out and supported Trump, and they were the biggest reason why Trump won Florida. And I seen people saying Cubans are Hispanic. Um, they're selling out to the white man. Then look, I'm part Cuban. You know, that's I take pride in that. And what I don't like, and I got in an argument with somebody over Facebook about this, is the fact that people feel like Hispanics and black people have to just vote for Biden because historically, and I talked to you about this before. My biggest issue with Democrats is they feel like black people and Latinos have to vote for them. And I mean, look at what Biden said. If you question to vote for me, you ain't black. Then you have Chelsea Handler out here talking about I have to remind 50 Cent he's black. Just because you want to vote for Trump, don't mean you're not black. You're not Hispanic. And I hate the fact that people are taking away people's identity just because you don't agree who they vote for. So
Right.
this goes back to this not even just about politics anymore. This is about the divide between Democrats and Republicans. This will never change. I don't know why people think that once Biden becomes president or if Trump stays president, that things are magically going to change next week. We're still going to wake up tomorrow with COVID still running wild. People still looting and rioting. And at the end of the day, like this, the only way we're going to change our system is if we change ourselves. I had a deep discussion with my roommate about this. And it's like, we're so quick to attack each other than we are the government. It goes back to, like I was talking about in the last episode with you about, police brutality. People screaming no justice, no peace. They're not doing anything. People are quick to shoot each other and beat each other up, than actually do something against the government. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
my whole thing is like this election. I don't know what's gonna happen with it. I'm just ready for it to be over. But I hate the idea that just because you vote for Trump, that you lose your black card or your Hispanic card. It's just disgusting and a slap in the face that people are doing that. And there was a gay conservative guy who came on Twitter was talking about how a lot of people in the LGBT community is slandering him, don't want him a part of the community, and that he's not welcome, and he's
Who?
being shamed. I can't
Who's
remember
not
his name.
welcome?
This was an entertainer. He was talking about how he's a gay conservative, and he was a white guy, and he was talking about how he's been treated poorly by the LGBT community just because he's a Trump supporter. We got to stop this, man. Like, I don't care what party you are, you know, what you identify as. Like, at the end of the day, you can't preach about, you know, people are equal and then treat each other like animals. Animals
I think.
don't. Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
No, yeah. What you was gonna say?
Well, I just think that this is all a ploy and some type of strategy just to keep people divided.
I
Because
agree.
all this is really just a distraction. Like this perceived division and unrest and difference of opinion. Like it's just a freaking distraction. That's not what people should be focused on. People need to be focused on the fact that the system is not working and people are unhappy about the system. It has nothing to do with with whoever's in office. Because
Right.
it was like before, it's going to be like that after. This is the same formula that's been going on for decades now.
Right.
I mean, when are people going to realize that? I saw a meme and it was like, so they put like red ants and a black ant in there, right?
Right.
And the red ants were coexisting with the one black ant like perfectly fine. All of a sudden, so they shook the jar that the ants were in, and then they let the ants out, and then all of a sudden the red ants started attacking the black ant, like they started fighting with each other.
Right.
Now realizing that instead of going after each other, they need to be going after whoever shook the thing in the first place. That's basically the society in general. We're not supposed to be getting at each other. Like I saw this thing on World Star, it's like these guys with guns were, planning terrorist attacks in case, Trump loses. And I'm like, so you're just going to just shoot people who don't agree with you just because? Like, why not use those guns on, law enforcement or, unruly freaking army guys where if there's like martial law or some crazy shit? Why don't you use it on them? I don't see y'all with guns when they're around. You guys are focused on the wrong shit. It should be the people against the system, not the people against other people for their opinions.
Right.
And again, it just takes a certain level of consciousness to do that because you're going against the grain. Because I could just easily say, Trump is an asshole, Trump is racist, so let me just vote for Biden. That's easy because everybody's doing that already. Everybody's doing that, and I would get a pat on the back for that.
Right.
It's not easy just to say, you know what, I'm neither here nor there. I'm about a better system, and I know it's just not going to come with Biden and Kamala Harris. No, because I don't think that they're going to want to go back to the drawing board. They're going to do the same thing what every other president has done before them, which is whatever the fuck they wanted to do or whatever benefited them, their people, whomever.
Right.
9 times out of 10, I'm not going to say all politics don't involve us, which it does, but the majority of it doesn't really affect our day-to-day lives in a major way where it's like, oh, because this person came into office, my quality of life has decreased since then, or my quality of life has increased. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Acting like that's the case when it's not. Because my mentality is, let's say, in terms of police brutality, if there was going to be a major change in police brutality and gun violence against Black people, that would have happened. That problem would have got solved when a Black man, was in office. It's just what it is.
Right.
Biden does not have a plan set in place for that outside of, like I said before, oh, I'm going to have these representatives from different, Black organizations, NAACP, and so on, come and speak to us about what's going on.
Right.
He said, I wasn't impressed. So that means we're going to have another 4 years of the same thing because something happened last week, and the week before that, and the week before that, and the week before that. It's just not working.
I'm calling this right now, and I said this on Facebook. I'm calling this right now. If Biden wins, I give him a year, maybe a year and a half, and then Kamala Harris, Miss I'm Not Black, is going to end up serving the rest of the term. I'm calling it right now. If Biden wins, Kamala Harris is going to find a way to become president, and it could be a conspiracy theory, but we've been seeing the seeds planted for a while now with a lot of the tours and stuff that they're doing, where Joe Biden is like, yeah, I'm on this fight with my running mate Kamala Harris, and the way how he talks about her. I'm telling you, like, I might be wrong, but I feel like if Biden wins, Kamala Harris is gonna be the president. And then my whole thing is this: like, no matter who wins, everybody's gonna be upset about something. And what we need to do, instead of shooting each other, beating each other up, stealing TVs, and I'm gonna talk about that in a second because I found something out about the looting. What we should do is be pressuring the House to pass a stimulus bill. This has been going on since July, and I mean, I want to give a shout out, and I'm not a conservative or Republican, but I have to say, Trump stepped up when he passed that executive order to help people. But they're on vacation right now, and I'm not saying they're probably on Cancun because obviously the election is a big thing, and there's a lot of things up in the air that they have to worry about. But people are losing homes at alarming rates. Unemployment is running low. People don't know when they're going to pay the next bill. Some people can't afford to pay the next bill, and I don't see anybody coming together to talk about it. And this goes from Trump to Nancy Pelosi to Mitch McConnell. I mean, look, at the end of the day, whoever's president, it doesn't matter. Yes, I was kind of hoping Trump would win because I already know who the guy is and I know what to expect. But the first thing we need to do is put them accountable, no matter who it is, because we can't have another 4 years of people got their hopes up that things going to change, and then next year, 2 years from now, we're getting screwed and we're back to square one like we always do. And that's just my biggest issue with this whole election. And I've said this a little earlier, is the fact that, like, for instance, like I've said, Democrats know every 4 years they can depend on Black and Latinos to vote for them, so they can talk about all, whatever they're gonna do. But how many times have we been disappointed? Even Barack Obama is another one. People thought he was going to be there for the Black community, and what did he do? So at some point, the election, when the next 4 years from now, when we have to do this again, people really need to stop thinking about Democrats versus Republicans and pick based off who has the best candidate, campaign. We can't just be voting for somebody because their skin color or their gender or their sexuality, because
Right.
we see time and time again, every time we do that, we leave empty handed. We give them the
Yep.
silver platter and we get back a glass of water. So, uh, I mean,
No, I agree.
yeah, it's unfortunate the state that we're in, and I don't see how anything is going to change, regardless who's president. We're still going to be stuck at home. And oh, actually, let me talk about the looting real quick. So I was actually curious, because I saw something on Twitter about this, the looting. So if anybody's out there trying to steal a TV, think about this. Now, I'm not sure what the national law is, but for instance, California passed a bill in June of this year. People don't know about this stuff, and I'm putting this out there because I want people to know this. They passed Penal Code 463. You would be charged with a misdemeanor or felony for stealing, and they have a whole list of crimes. So that could be if you move any property from a business even a couple yards away, that's a misdemeanor. If you're stealing TVs and stuff, that's a felony. Um, any type of stealing, looting, or evasion of private property, you can get fined and sentenced up to 3 to 5 years in prison. At least in California, I don't know what the state is. The nationwide law is for that. But just keep that in mind, because I've talked about the looting before, and which is why I say it's not a good idea. Because you know, Tamika Mary, who's known for being part of the Black Lives Matter, she went on air a couple weeks ago and said, F Target, F Walmart, people steal from them. But guess who's not doing that? Their kids. Why? Because all those cameras in those buildings are still recording you. Every iPhone, every Xbox, every TV, it's all hooked up to the internet. And all they gotta do is match your face, find out your GPS, because the government could be looking at your phone right now. While there's been instances where
Yeah.
you're on your laptop and your camera turns on. Be prepared. People are getting dragged out their beds at 5 in the morning, getting arrested and locked up for looting. So looting is not going to solve anything besides put you in jail. If
It's
I
not
mean,
worth it.
if you get lucky and don't get caught. But what is looting going to do? You know what I'm saying? You destroying your own
Nothing.
cities. Who you think is going to pay for that? Like I said before, the FBI, the government just sitting back. Ha ha ha. Like I said,
And
Jonathan
a lot of
Gruber.
these idiots are really destroying their own communities.
Yeah, like I said, Jonathan Gruber, who's been working with Obama and different political figures, went on air and was like, American people are stupid. There's a reason why he said that, because people aren't thinking about the consequences of their actions.
Nope.
I mean, there's a lot of things people don't know about this stuff. And I'll tell you, even in this penal code that California passed, rioting is prison sentence too. Any gathering over 3 people that involves violence at any sort, you can get arrested and locked up for 5 years for that. And people don't know this stuff. So look, regardless of how you feel about the election, stay home. Take your aggression out on your pillow. Stealing stuff, shooting people. There's
People have
been
options.
protesting already in DC. People running wild, getting in fights with the people, the cops that ride the bikes. I mean, it's all going to catch up to us. And the only people suffering, it's not the government. It's not the
Us.
FBI. It's not the police. It's going to be us. Because who got to pay for it? Not the government. They're going to tax us or find a way to make us pay for it. And it's going to come. I mean, what do you think about that?
Hey man, I agree. You know, people need to. I mean, like I said, I'm a big advocate of critical thinking and being a free thinker. People got to think for themselves and really think about what other people are doing, and if it really suits your best interest to go with what the crowd is doing and being a part of a angry mob. You know, a mob mentality doesn't really go anywhere because 9 times out of 10 people are angry. It's just what I mean. It's really just what it is, and people, it's just the wrong enemy. You got to understand what the enemy is, and really not really know more so the enemy, just the problem. And being solution oriented. I just see people go back and forth all day on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram about political views that it's just a setup to keep you distracted from the real problem. That's it. Like, really, that's the answer right there. That's just the hack to everything right there. It's consciousness. People need to raise their consciousness and ask more questions.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the people who are running their mouth that I see probably aren't the biggest experts on politics. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, my whole thing is I never claimed to know the ins and outs of politics. Obviously, there's a lot of things that I could stand to learn, but at the same time, you're not going to see me preaching and bragging to somebody else without having all the information for myself.
Right.
So I'm not going to tell somebody, "Oh, vote for this, you vote for that dude," if I don't know what the hell I'm voting for them for. And that one statement can be said for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Someone told me the other day, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is going to change everything. Change what? Like, what policies do you know? Can you tell me any policies? It's crickets. So, what are you talking about? You're just making an uneducated vote. So, I mean, like I said, it's really people before anything else, to be honest with you.
I feel like at this point, the election has been either you vote for Trump or you're voting for anybody but Trump. I don't think a lot of people really was looking at the key answers. And I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people weren't looking at it, looking at the policies that they were talking about, which really didn't really happen because I said this even before the election even started, that this whole election was going to be based off COVID and racism. Because look at all the talking points. I haven't heard uh, about government spending. I haven't heard about the stimulus talks. I haven't heard about funding for schools and stuff like that. What they're talking about Proud Boys, white supremacy, which Proud Boys isn't even a white supremacy group. It's a group that has a black, at least one or two black leaders and Hispanic leaders, and is made of a bunch of different people. But the media is the biggest problem of them all because instead of giving people the facts that they deserve, they give them the sound bites that they want to. Even last night, you had media coverage talking about Biden was going to win this and Trump was going to win this, and they were all wrong, all wrong. Even the polls were all wrong. At one point, do we hold the media accountable too? Because they're the biggest culprit of them all. Like, they're giving us misleading information, and all they were doing was trying to instill fear into people. Because what is the first thing people talk about this election? It's the 240,000 people who died, which is unfortunate. I'm not saying that it's not unfortunate, but more people died from cancer and other diseases a year more than COVID has. But we don't talk about that. Why? Because they wanted you to focus on that 240,000 number so you could place a vote on a guy that, frankly, when he becomes president, ain't going to change anything. There's still no vaccine. There's still no cure. There's still no way to handle it. Cases still going to go up well along until we get a vaccine, regardless who's president. COVID doesn't judge based off if you're Trump or Biden. Don't care. But what they do is they tell you, Trump is holding super spreader events. But they don't talk about all the protests and the gatherings going on right now where people aren't wearing masks either. It's again, it's just fear. That's all it is. I didn't even vote. I didn't vote. So maybe I don't have an opinion. But I only didn't vote because I live in California, but I'm still registered in New York, and there was no way I was gonna trust them to get my vote all the way over there. But I mean, at the end of the day, the government wins at all costs. Our
Yeah.
votes don't mean nothing because there's a lot of funny business going on counting these votes. I mean, at the, whoever the government wants, whoever Big Brother wants as president will be president. That's why all
Yeah.
these numbers are being fabricated. You know, states are talking about we're 99% done, but then turn around 3 hours later talking about we're only 80% done. Arizona is a prime example of that. So, you know, I think people, my takeaway message is for everybody, don't take this. All right, let me rephrase that. This election is important, but don't let it ruin your life because tomorrow we all gonna wake up. Most people still gonna be unemployed. A lot of people still gonna lose their jobs. COVID is still gonna be here. Nothing's gonna change. So rioting, stealing TVs ain't gonna do anything besides ruin your community and the lives of people in your community. So, um, I mean, the election's been pretty good. It's been really close. It's been very neck and neck so far. So, I mean, what's your final prediction? Who you think takes the cake?
I mean, just judging by the electoral votes that I've been seeing, probably Joe Biden. Probably. I mean, who knows? I'm like I said, I'm neither here nor there. I'm just all about a better system that I just feel like neither of them have the capacity or righteousness to actually do something about. So
I don't even know what's gonna happen. States got to do a recount. There's still states that don't even aren't even finished counting yet. Some don't even have an idea what's gonna, what the projection is. At the end of the day, this election ain't gonna end clean. What's gonna happen is they're gonna decide a voter. They're still gonna go to the Supreme Court, and people are gonna file, charges or whatnot to, get votes recounted. It's gonna be messy. It's gonna be messy for the next couple months, and we better buckle up, enjoy the ride because I'm telling you, I'm telling you right now, like this election, just because they announce a winner, don't mean we're done. Because whether it's Trump or Biden, they're going to Supreme Court, they're going to demand recounts, then they're going to have to take it to the House of Representatives and do a whole thing about that. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess.
crazy.
But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I thank everybody for voting because regardless of what party you're a part of, you know, voting is a right that we have, and I'm glad a lot of people, especially our generation and younger generation, are taking the initiative to vote. This has by far been the biggest uh, turnout in votes in history. We broke records like no other, and I'm glad people took the time out to vote and stuff like that. And may the best man win, but God bless us all. So, any final thoughts or anything you want to get off your chest? My man, are you sleeping?
But nah, yo, nah, I'm not even gonna front. Yo,
Wait. You believe this guy? I brought him onto the podcast and he falling asleep on me. You believe
hey
this guy?
man,
See,
hey
I'm trying to help out the black man and he does this to you, man. Unbelievable.
man.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'd be dead as those and all. Yeah, probably gotta wrap this.
Unbelievable. But anyway, yeah, thank you guys for tuning into another episode. We got a big one coming up with more guests. It's gonna be a nice little episode coming. It's gonna be the next one. So stay tuned for that. You can find Dimitri on YouTube at Mr. DJ dash MDJ. You can find him on Instagram at Demetrius Dewis Jr. Um,
Yeah,
and like I said, just to wrap it up, if you want to support this podcast, go to anchor.com/the Prince of Fresh Air. You can send voice messages if you want to be a part of the show. Send me a DM on Instagram at Mr. No Days Off Percy. No, it's Mr. No Days Off Percy. And like I always say, stay classy, stay ashy, and a better hand is a helping hand.